Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for watching this session. Uh, this is the fifth philanthropy virtual coffee talk which is we organize on weekly basis on of every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Malaysia time. So thank you very much for watching. For those who are watching on Facebook, thank you very much for, and also we would like to request all of you to share this live to your friends, and we hope that this discussion today will bring a lot of benefit, a lot of information and knowledge to everyone of us. So today our topic is social enterprise, the untold side of social enterprise. So we would like to share now what is social enterprise, what is the challenges that social enterprise are facing in building their sustainabilities. And surprisingly, when the COVID-19 happened, um, if in Malaysia there are few statements given by the authority and also even by Magic, for example, which is they told us that we between 65 to 70% of social enterprise will cease their business if the uh, the lockdown or partial lockdown that happening in Malaysia will prolong until the Eid al-Fitri. But at the same time, we believe that a lot of opportunity and uh, chances given by the government of Malaysia, and we also receive a lot of input coming from social enterprise saying that during this pandemic their business is getting better and they serve bigger and wider beneficiaries. So I would like to pass this session to Brother Hassan, who is the moderator for today. And together with us today is social enterprise from Malaysia, two social enterprise from Malaysia, and one social enterprise from Lebanon. So without further ado, I would like to invite Brother Hassan Al-Akra from Al-Hassan Network and also from Philanthropy to moderate this session. Please, Brother Hassan.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Khalid. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak, everybody. Thank you so much for watching us live, and thank you so much to our speakers for being with us today, for taking the time. So the topic of today will be about, as Mr. Khalid introduced, is social enterprise, the untold side. Hopefully we can all learn something new or something beneficial or new knowledge from our fellow speakers for today. So before we begin with our guest speakers, I would like to introduce each one of them and their organization on what they do. So first we have Mr. Hisham Talib. He is one of the co-founders, general manager, director of Rai Ventures, and one of the project under Rai Ventures is kamikita.com. He is what you can call a serial entrepreneur. He likes to develop and build businesses, and this comes from his architecture background. He had various businesses that he have built together with so many different partners, taking him as far as to Myanmar and Indonesia. Rai Ventures is all about ethical commerce, which falls under the broad spectrum of ethical consumption. Ethical consumption is about making the connection between a product, where that product originated and what context it has been produced. It requires you to think before you shop, to consider just how your lifestyle affects other people's communities, as well as the environment. So before, basically, is that when you buy or when you purchase, you will see the originality and have a connection with the product. And ethically informed consumer realizes that when they buy something, they are not only buying the product, but it's more to making an impact as well. So that is the idea of Kami Kita. Our next speaker is Miss Anja Juliah. She is the founder and social impact director of Athena Holdings, a social enterprise that empowers women with entrepreneurship skills. She's also the founder of Sisterhood Alliance, an NGO which advocates social changes by empowering young girls with life skills, education, and social impact. Social impact consultant at Content Lab, a social impact consultancy helping communities to build their CSRs, capacity building activities, and they also consult businesses to become social enterprises as part of their business model. She is passionate in educating the community in the importance of social missions and also social enterprises. Anja is also a mentor for social purpose and an SDG advocator. In June 2019, Anja was among the 43 women leaders from around the world to be part of the VV Grow Fellowship in Amsterdam by Vital Voices, a US-based NGO that works with women leaders who are creating change in economic empowerment and entrepreneurship in the world. She is listed as top 10 women social entrepreneur by top 10 Malaysia. She receives the Outstanding ASEAN Woman Entrepreneur Award from VCCI, Hanoi 2016, a winner in the Best Woman category Malaysia Innovation. Anja is a recipient of Malaysia Star Golden Hearts Award by Star Foundation in 2017. And in September 2019, Anja and 17 other leaders from total 18 countries received an invitation to the White House to be part of the WGDP Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative, established by President Trump in February 2019. So this is the first whole of government effort to advance women's economic empowerment. And our third speaker is Ms. Douaa Sabahi. She's a communication specialist at Health Prize. Health Prize is an initiative that helps empower youth to start their own social enterprises through empowerment events, empowerment programs that help them to have a capacity building and other teamwork skills and other skills as well. She's a freelance journalist, and her most interest is in social economics. And she's also a youth trainer and also a public speaker. She trained people on public speaker and other empowerment initiatives as well. She's the founder of Tripolizen. It's a platform to show culture diversities and other important heritage in that location. Due to war and civil war that happened for a few years, people are afraid and are scared until this day to visit that place. So through her initiative, they are trying to advocate they work as a platform to show the culture diversities, the important heritage, the history, and other really diversity and traditions that can attract tourism to visit the location, Tripolizen, and also to see the place. So thank you so much to all of our speakers for joining us for today. We really appreciate you being with us. So to begin with our first question to our first speaker, Mr. Hisham. Just a second, yeah. So as I introduced your organization just now and about what is Kami Kita in general and what do you do in general, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the idea. Where is the originality of the idea? Where did it come from? How did you come up with it? And how did it build up? And also maybe you can touch a little bit about ethical commerce, because it's a new topic for many people that do not really consider ethical commerce or actually making an impact when they purchase a product. So perhaps you can touch a little bit about the ethical commerce, and you can share with us how did this Kami Kita idea came about.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Brother Hassan. My name is Hisham. So I'm representing essentially Rai Ventures, which one of the projects that we do is actually kamikita.com. We are, like you said, like you mentioned before, we are very young company, very young platform. We've been around since early of this year, but the Kami Kita platform is only about a month old. So how did we start? So a group of people with the same vision, we sat together, we knew each other, and we sat down and wanting to do a project that has an impact to the society. So that's where we sat down and started a company called Ra'i Ventures near Berhad. This was actually late last year, but officially this year. So we are a diverse group of people, entrepreneurs, technopreneurs, NGO, and from an NGO background and Douaa background. So we wanted to do something along the lines that we are already familiar with and see how we can use our experience and network to essentially create a business that have an impact. So one of the things that we really wanted to look into is actually the term ethical consumerism or ethical consumption. Ethical consumption is, to put it in layman terms, is when you buy something, you are part of the value chain, right? You buy something because of the value of the product, but you know that product also comes from somebody who made it, and you know that it was made in a specific environment, whether it's a positive environment or a negative environment. So we live in a world of globalization, although the recent COVID-19 perhaps will change that a little bit. But as before this, we were living in a globalized economy, where we know that the supply chain perhaps comes from very little very little countries. We are dependent on a few countries for the bulk of our products that we consume day in and day out. It's more, that is more on fast trade rather than fair trade, right? So what we are concerned about is the product that we consume should be part of the value that we have as well. So when you buy something, you are part of the value chain. You know, so you should know where the products come from. You should know what is an environment that the product is made from, is produced, and this ties back to, I think, the current situation where because of the COVID pandemic, we see a disruption in supply chain. And we are not alone in this. A lot of the countries, or the majority of the countries in the world, are seeing that the supply chain is disrupted tremendously. So now I think, to borrow the term by the infamous Donald Trump, to make America great again, I think now a lot of countries are looking at how to make their own country great again, right? Are we able to create a new supply chain rather than having to look into the bigger economies for our products, or we can build it ourselves? So I think we see a lot of the smaller entrepreneurs that comes out with beautiful products, usable products, quality products, local and local. More importantly, is they are local, but they do not get the attention or the market share, because of course, when you talk about the production, it would be a bit more expensive than if you go through the fast trade track rather than the fair trade track, right? But because of disruption of the supply chain now, I think more people will be looking at the local products, the local manufactured products, and we do have that. But Kami Kita, when we developed this Kami Kita idea, is essentially to have a platform that allows curated products from local manufacturers, local entrepreneurs that's got good quality products, and we provide them with a platform, as well as the assistance like a marketing, as well as a business coaching. So essentially now Kami Kita is at an experimental stage. We are only 1 month old, so we wanted to see how we can also help them in the longer run. So we do it in like a seasonal thing. It's not a Shopee or your Lazada. The difference is that we curate the products and the vendors. We want to know the story of our vendors, how they make the products, why they make the products, and who did they make the products for in the first place, and see how we can help them to perhaps change a little bit here and there to suit the wider market, right? So that was the initial idea of why we created Kami Kita. And it ties back to, again, the ethical consumerism that we want to champion essentially in Malaysia. What we want is we want Kami Kita to be the, I suppose, ASEAN's leading ethical platform. We are focusing more on the fair trade rather than the fast trade. So that is in a nutshell what we are and how we started.
Thank you so much, Brother Hisham, for the introduction. Next, I would like to ask to Anja, is that when I introduced you just now, I'm really proud of all your achievements and success. You basically make Malaysia proud, representing Malaysia in so many platforms and awards as well. I think a lot of us would be wondering the same thing. What actually made you start all this? What get you involved in the social enterprise in the first place? In other words, what is your turning point in life? Was there an event? Was there an experience that at a young age maybe that made you, inspired you, or motivated you to do what you're doing?
Hi, thank you, Hashim. Hi, afternoon. My name is Anja from Athena Empowers. We run a social enterprise that empower young girls and women through the sales of our sanitary product. Back then, when I had the idea in 2007, it's all about want to be different. So the product itself is different. It's unique because it's not. Normal disposable product is a washable product, and we actually educate and our consumer to switch from become a from a throwaway culture to reusable culture, and but it all began when back in 2010 after we won Malaysia Innovation Award. And I've got a lot of coverage, not only from media, for television, magazine, newspaper, all nationwide. And it was when somewhere in September 2012, when I was approached by a missionary from East Malaysia, asking if I can donate the product, sponsor the product to a few girls. And the few girls is actually 33 girls, where the amount that that I need to sponsor is a value about 125 ringgit for one girl. I mean, that's the sale value, but again, I was like just few months on full-time running the business, because previously I started when I was still working. I left my company in June, my employer in June 2012, and on full-time in July 2012. So I was a bit hesitant when I was asked to sponsor, because I didn't apply, when I ran the business, I didn't apply for loan or grant, but it's all start with 500 ringgit and making product, resell, sell them, and I use back the profit to buy materials and make them. So it's quite hard and a big challenge for me to sponsor. However, I decided at the very last minute to sponsor them, because I said there must be reason why. A missionary, a non-Muslim missionary contacted me and asked for donation, for product donation, and it was just nice to arrive to the girls just a week before Christmas, so they are happy to receive the product. And that's when I started to have more curious. I have a lot of questions, like what happened to the girls actually. I mean, like that's when I found out that these girls are among affected girls that have to miss 5 to 7 days of school in a month when they have their period, because these are the girls from extreme poverty family, whereby they live in a hostel that built by the missionary, because they live like 1 or 2 hours from school, and the missionary decided to build the hostel for them to live. And the money that they have is actually enough for them to buy other things like food especially. So when asked why can't you buy sanitary pad, it's only cost like 4-5 ringgit, although in Peninsula it's only 3-4 ringgit. But to them, they rather buy a bread that can last them a week rather than sanitary pad. And I said, you can be you don't have to use sanitary product, but you can use alternative like cloth, like any other as a substitute. They said yeah, they did, but sometimes, I mean, kids, being a kid, that even though they are 13, 14, they are very active, and somehow it leaks and stain their school uniform. That's when the children, I mean, the school, students laugh at them, and due to low self-esteem, they decided to, some of them decided to just drop out. They take a drastic action and just drop out, and some of them like decided to stay in the hostel for the duration of 5 days. So if in average a girl miss 5 to 7 days of school in a month, means they lost 60 days of school in a year compared to boys. So it's not fair. And moreover, if they don't have proper product to use when they have their menses, and that's when that's actually the turning point when I learned about girls drop out at the age of 14, 15. They have to totally drop out because they cannot take handle the situation. This girl, they just take action, they react, and decided to drop out. But as for me, I relate to my personal experience. At the age of 22, I was a college dropout, and but back then I have a few a strong support system that instead of react, I respond. I decided to work and save some money to study, and in the end went back to school and graduated. But compared to this girl, at the age of 14, 15, they have no idea where to go. And when I interviewed the parent, especially the mom, I said, please allow them to go back to school. But their daughter just refused to go back to school. And the mom said, it's okay. They already know how to read. They already know how to write. So there's no great future for them if they go back to school, as long as they know the basic thing like read and write. And so if I put myself in that little girl, that teenage, that girl age group, I was like I have ambition. I have very big ambition. I have a big goal and dream, and I don't think I can achieve them if I stop, like simply stop from going to school. That's when January 2013, I decided to run a campaign called Girl Empowerment with tagline Keep Girls in School. Then that's when we introduced for our customer, if they purchase our product, a set will be sponsored to a girl. And back then the outcome is only to work with the school teacher, and to how we measure is that from the attendance. What we want is that when we sponsor them the sanitary product, we want to see them to come to school and reduce the absenteeism due to period. So that's the turning point, because when I put myself into this girl situation, and I wish there's someone there to help. I have an imagination like a superhero come and rescue. So I want to be someone that at least give them hope, so that the least they can do is to continue go to school and finish it until 17 years old. So that's the turning point. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Juan Anja. I think, yeah, that's for most people, the turning point is when we empathize with the communities that are struggling, and also to try to at least imagine if we were in their place, what would we do? Would we appreciate if someone offered help to us? If we were in that place, would we want someone to help us? And that's when we step in. And I think that's very inspiring of you to also relate to personal experience as well. Next, we have the question to Ms. Douaa. So I've mentioned some about your achievements and about your organization, but also maybe some question to Juan Anja that I asked earlier. I want to ask you too. Is that what interests you to start advocating to start having a social enterprise which is focusing on attracting tourism and others? What was the turning point in your life? What inspired you or motivated you to do what you're doing today?
Okay, first of all, thank you for inviting me. It's very inspiring to be part of this panel, this online panel. When we talk, I don't think that I have a specific turning point in my life. I think about it as a journey. I grew up in a family that stresses a lot on education, so I needed to be an A student. We needed to be successful, and I had this urge to always learn, to be hungry and ambitious. So at one point, my family encouraged me to always learn, to never stop learning, and we were a bit serious. So from a young age, I started discussing politics and economy with my dad. I remember I was 11 years old. I used to sit with the men talking about politics and history and share my ideas with them. And since then, my journey started. Afterwards, and going in and like growing in life, this urge grew until, as you said, I started Tripolizen. Tripolizen started because I love Tripoli, because there was specific wars, civil wars in the country that made people think that Tripoli is dark. But I know it. We have diversity. We have loving people. Why am I seeing on them? Why what I'm seeing in the media is not matching what I'm seeing on ground? This made me want to be the mirror that reflects the truth of Tripoli, the truth of the people, the diversity of the people, the hidden stories in the streets. You know, not everything that we see on mainstream media needs to be correct for whatever reason, but it's our responsibility as people to tell the truth and to spread the word. Another thing is that I love people and I love dealing with them, if empowering them or just listening to them. This helped me in Tripolizens, and our slogan is connecting cultures and civilizations. Now, how did it start? I didn't start it alone. I had a friend and a co-founder called Hadi Shugari. I hope he's watching this live now. At first, we didn't know what we want to do. We just knew we want to make a difference. We want to make a change. On a personal level, when I was at school, I was taught that we are on earth for a reason. We're not gonna come and go like numbers. No, we will create impact. We will make a difference in our small society and our global society. And when I met Hadi, we were talking that we need to do something more important than like just studying at university. Are we going to study at college and be normal students even if we had a high GPA? No, we won't. We saw by coincidence an entrepreneurship course with Injaz Lebanon. So thanks Injaz, because it helped us get where we are now. As you know, that any successful project emerges from a problem, and our cities have many problems. I think in all over the world there are a lot of problems, especially in the developing countries. So we set up, brainstormed what problems can we solve. we found that tourism is the key. So in tourism, we don't need government to be with us at this point. So when we're starting this startup, at tourism, we can get money, we can help the economy.
I think we are losing Douaa.
Yeah.
So Hassan, yes, we can proceed first by while we are waiting for her to coming back.
Yeah, apologize everyone because I think yeah, Sister Douaa is very far. Actually, she's in Lebanon, so I think yeah, internet connection can be a problem, especially for far distance locations. So while waiting for Sister Douaa to come back, I think we can move on to the next question, and once she come back, she can continue.
Hey, I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, sorry, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, I think we lost your connection. So
yeah.
So you can continue. You can have a few minutes to continue, and then we move on to the next question. No worries.
Yeah, just to recap, as a kid, although I love to learn, I was also a rule breaker. I always knew that I'm gonna do something special in life, but I had no idea what is it. And like I love to discover and like try new things. Then we started Tripolizen. I started it with Hadi Shoughari to change the stereotypical image that people look with it to Tripoli, and then came my work with Hope Prize.
All right, thank you so much, Sister Douaa. I think we rarely find social enterprises that focus on actually on tourism. And I mean, this field usually it's more to business, more to profit, more to the economy of the country. But it's also sometimes rare to see people who are doing tourism are actually making a social impact at the same time to impact the communities and support a social cause, which is personally I think it's a noble thing to do. So moving on to our round two of the questions for today. I'll start with Kamikita, brother Hisham. I know Kamikita is very new, is very fresh, but based on your experiences being in this field for years, training other social enterprises and working with other social enterprises, what are some common common challenges and untold challenges that usually social enterprises face when they first start or as they move on? What are some common challenges, and also maybe you can share what were the challenges that Kamikita faced when you guys first started?
Okay. Just to correct you a little bit, we don't really train other social enterprises. We train other enterprises, but some with they have also their impact part of the business, but some don't. But essentially, we are a social enterprise. Okay, to answer your question, what are the things that we look when we started this to see whether we have that kind of impact to the society or to the community around us? I think when I talk to other people with social enterprise as well, we have a network of entrepreneurs, technopreneurs that we are constantly communicate with to bounce ideas and to share our problems and to look out for solutions. I think that is important in any businesses, in any community. I think if you have that support system, when you want to build either it's a social enterprise or even an enterprise, a normal enterprise, you need that support system. And especially for social enterprise, because when in Malaysia, I think when we talk about social enterprise, people the first thing that they think of when they talk about social enterprise is that oh, you don't have any money, you won't make any money, right? That's the usual misconception. So I think from where we stand, Ra'i Ventures, I think when we wanted to start Kami Kita, it has to make business sense first and foremost. It would have the the impact part of it. The business that we want to create has to have an impact, but the underlying quality is that, the part is that it has to make business sense. So I think a lot of social enterprises that I see out there, perhaps that is some of the challenge. That is a challenge for them, and a lot of them, I think, are also working with NGOs and all. So in terms of budget, it could be funds, could be an issue for them. I think that one is one, and I think in the other part, I think, which is an issue with a lot of SE, is about the marketing, the branding, and the marketing of the social enterprise. Usually, typically, a social enterprise would have a very thoughtful and nice story. You have to have a story because you want to, of course, you have to have a solution for a problem. A story is a good way to start off, but at the end of the day, it has to have the structure of a business that allows it to survive, so that it can get to the impact that you set out yourself to do, right? So when we started Kami Kita, we wanted to be part of the value chain, and we look at circular economy. That means circular economy, I think, for the past 20 odd years, I think we started to embrace circular economy by using a lot of recycling as part of the value chain. But we want to take it even a step further. So hence why we included the auction part into the marketplace. This is fairly new in Malaysia. In a lot of developed countries, auction is is everywhere. But I think in developing countries, it's probably something unheard of even. We have other platforms that you can sell just about anything. You go into onboard yourself onto the platform. You can sell anything that you have you don't want. But that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure that the product that has value can be either recycled. Recycle is one part of it. The other one is to repurpose. That means something that is valuable to one person, but because he doesn't use it anymore, does not mean that the value of the product has diminished. So what we want to do is we move along the value chain to another person, another party, another community, so that the community can also receive the value that the product has. So that's where we are experimenting currently with the auction with products by celebrities, because we want to basically differentiate us from the other platforms that sell second-hand, not even pre-loved, it's just second-hand products that usually that they don't really want anymore. But we wanted to make sure that when you go into Kami Kita, when you bid for a product that is on auction, that the product is pre-loved, in good quality, and has got value to it. So that's what we wanted to do. That's why we started off with products by celebrities, because we have that love and hate relationship with celebrities. We like to talk bad about them, but we also love them to bits. So it's easier for normal people to accept things that are from celebrities. But I think as we go along with this current pandemic that we are experiencing now, more people will be affected. I think supply chain will be affected. That it has already been affected. It's already affected. And also the other one is the livelihood of a lot of people will be affected too. I think smaller businesses and the odd job workers, which perhaps are the majority of the population in this region, will be affected on one way or another. So I think the moving forward, the spending power of a lot of people would be curtailed, would be limited. So what we want to do is we be part of this economy, the new normal, as you like. So maybe we will have problems to get some products from the supply chain, but either we build our own supply chain, we develop our own supply chain, or we add value to the existing supply chain, which is the value chain of the product. So we extend the value of the products by exchanging it through a transaction, right? Through buying and selling to another party until the value is no more. So that's what we want to push on Kami Kita, using pre-love item auction. It's not donation. It's not donation. It's basically you are selling it, right? You are selling it for a profit, but of course the cost will be far lesser than if you buy it new. So that's what we wanted to do, and it also is, we are encouraged by the celebrities that are very keen with this idea. So many celebrities has come up to us. Some are donating their products so that we can auction them, because they see value in this. And I think Kami Kita as a brand, we wanted to make sure that this is part of the marketing as well. When we go out, when you talk about consumerism, ethical consumerism, when you go into Kami Kita, the products are good. The vendors has got nice, very good and strong story, and it is produced at a positive ecosystem. So that's what Kami Kita is all about, and that's what we want to push moving forward.
Thank you so much, Brother Hisham. I think it is very important to actually to have ethical commerce where product and businesses contribute to a cause, be it environment, be it socio-economic, be it communities, be it advancing or empowering, be it anything. But at least the most important is that at least it has an impact, not just purchasing the product for the sake of the product, but also indirectly or directly involved in another cause. And I think it's a really great thing to do. And I think the more we have social enterprises that consider ethical commercing and consider issues that are facing the communities and the country, I think a lot of issues will be much easier, honestly, and a lot of issues will be solved, inshallah. So our last speaker for this webinar, last but not least, Sister Douaa. For round 2, for the second round, starting the Tripolizens, and I'm sure there were ups and downs in when you started this, and also there were challenges since you started this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Wait. Okay, sorry. For Anja, before we move to Sister Ara, I'm really sorry.
Okay. No worries.
Okay, I apologize. So for Anja, I apologize. Anja, for Athena Holdings, I'm sure that there are ups and downs when you first started Athena Holdings until this day. That I'm sure, and it's not a success without downs and without challenges. So if you can share with us what were some of these challenges that you encountered starting Athena Holdings and all the other empowerment programs that you're doing, and what were some of these untold stories or challenges that you encountered?
Okay, when I first started back in 2009, I was all alone, and I faced so many challenges that I don't know how to solve the problem. And until late 2014, early 2015, when I invited my two partners to join the team, and that's when I realized that we three of us, like, we identify what our strengths and weaknesses, and we only work based on best capacities. Like for example, I love to do marketing. I love to do meet people, and I love to meet with the community. So, even though I'm the founder of the company, but it is run by another partner who have the strong in operations and running the business. Being an entrepreneur, you need to. Not everyone is good in running a business. For me, I thought like if you can be good in marketing or sales, but doesn't mean you are good in running business. That's why you need a strong team, a team that can actually have a same value and work together to grow the business. And I think when we at some point we of course we have challenges, but the action that I took is actually to get ourselves a mentor, a business expert, not someone like self-claimed coach or sipu or whatsoever mentor, but someone who actually have credibility. For example, I met one of this lady, Tan Sri Siti Sada, who back then won the CEO award, Malaysia CEO award, and she's also the corporate advisor of KPJ. And I went to her and asked if she can mentor me, because I said I have no idea how to run a business. I have no idea, how to become a CEO. I told her straight, and I was so happy that she accept to help guide me. And it's been like a few weeks or months that I've been commuting to her office to just learn. And I know that I also have not so good in operation, and I get myself mentored with another successful entrepreneur who is in fashion business, but her strength is on the numbers part. She taught me on operations, and I got another mentor who is also a successful entrepreneur, who is also a self-made millionaire, and he taught me on negotiating. And I invited him to join my meeting with corporate clients, and I learned a lot how he actually negotiate with our corporate client and finally close the deal. So and today, when I have mentored I have mentored more than 200 social entrepreneurs, and I realized that this is what they like. They don't have enough team, and maybe you have these issues of belief that maybe that's why you had to find partners. But at least leverage with other social enterprise. You can also work with leverage each other's strength. And like I also belong to few close group where we support each other, and that's how I think what not only social entrepreneurs but every entrepreneurs who just started, or especially startup, to like leverage to do network, increase your social capital and leverage each other's strength. And I think and for those who start up, I'm like social entrepreneurs, they have this same, they have passion. They want to see change. They are a change maker. They are crazy or mad to make a difference. But it needs the business itself must be realistic. You need to focus how to sell your product or services, because in the end, is numbers never lie. You need to make the profit so that you can make an impact to others. And if you have product, if you plan to have a product, make sure you validate that it really meet consumers need, and or else you find you need to work out to have something like be creative how to sell your product. Because I realized that most the social entrepreneurs, those who just started, they like really into their story. I agree, stories sell, but facts tell. After 2 years, you cannot sell the same story. You need to show, where your business, you need to show that your business is growing. You cannot like after 2 years, after 3 years, still sell the same stories. And people want to know more about your company. So it's time to tell them about what you have done and to ensure that your business is growing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Anja. I think it is very important indeed to. One of your point was to have a mentor. Mentorship is really important, where we can learn from others and from someone who are expert to guide us on running a business or running a social enterprise. And I think that is very crucial for many people who wants to become a CEO or wants to run a business, and also getting us involved with other social enterprises. Sharing feedback with one another, sharing knowledge with one another. I think it's very crucial to have that as well. All right, so now we go to Ms. Douaa. I apologize for the mistake just now. Sister Douaa, for Tripolizen's, same question to you as well. What were some of the ups and downs when you started, when you first started Tripolizen until now? What were some of the hidden challenges, or since you started until this day, what were the difficult moments where you said you either almost gave up, or you either said, okay, I need to sit down, I need to figure this out? So maybe you can share with us some of these challenges that you encountered.
Yeah, sure. But before sharing challenges, I want to build on the first question to emphasize on the importance of your supportive environment. I want to say that I had a supportive environment, even though in any place I went to, in every environment I've been into, some people wanted to put me down because I don't know, they are like this. They don't know another way of showing success. But also on the other end of the spectrum, a lot of other people were very supportive. And because of them, I am where I am. The first one is my dad, who never cut my wings and was always pushing me to be the best version of myself. Some of them are my school teachers. I've mentioned that I've been trained and educated that we are on this earth to leave an impact. They implanted this in me. So thanks for my school teachers, who I still communicate with till now. My third step is at university. I was very happy when I saw that my dean is watching the live, and I hope she's very supportive. So all of these people are just making me want to be better, and I don't want to put them down. I want to make them proud of me as I'm proud of myself. This positive environment helps you aspire and helps you grow. Always search for these people and stick to them. As I told you, I had some people who wanted to put me down, but I choose to focus on the people who love me and who I love, and who are gonna elevate each other upwards. Regarding before talking about the challenges, also at Health Prize we have a great growth mindset, and I encourage everyone who's interested in entrepreneurship to have a look on Health Prize handles and Change Labs handles, because they fire me up to be better in entrepreneurship and in having a for-profit businesses. Talking about the challenges, first of all, what is the impact I want to leave? It's not easy to answer this question, especially for youth. What is our aim from this life? We are living, but what is our impact? It is hard. It's not easy. I want to tell you, calm down. You don't have to answer it at the moment. Just see how you can leave this sparkle of impact, of positivity where you are. Search for what you can do and do it. For either for free, or gain some money if it's a service, or if it's a product you can create and sell, that can do good and at the same time make you gain money or even gain experience. So don't stress on your impact or your goal from this life. Another challenge that was a bit personalized to us and to Tripolizens is how to hit our target audience. We were young. We haven't started. We didn't start like when we started Tripolizens. We weren't at university, so our network, our PR wasn't that expanded. From where do we get tourists? This was a question: how to hit our target audience, how to fulfill our goal. From here, we decided that our target audience is not only tourists, because we noticed that people inside Lebanon and inside Tripoli itself sometimes don't know this rich heritage in Tripoli. And as you said, many people find it strange that you're starting a social enterprise about tourism. Well, it was profitable. In the first year, in the first summer, we gained around 1 million liras, Lebanese liras, which is around it used to be around $800 or something, and we were just kicking off our startup. It is profitable. Our target audience, as I mentioned, are tourists from inside Lebanon, from inside Tripoli, school students. We want school and university students to know that Tripoli is not what they might see later on, and they might be the mouth and the eyes who will spread the word and show Tripoli around. And from here, you can see that in our startup, Hadi and I, we focus on education, on youth, on even kids, because they are the real change. Because we're seeking change. We're not just seeking this $1 million or million Lebanese pounds. Another thing was how to be sustainable with the current situation. A couple of months ago, a revolution happened in Lebanon. Well, I'm not giving my opinion in the revolution. I may agree with it or not, but overall, it's made us stop for a bit from our work. So how to be sustainable with the economic crisis in Lebanon, with the revolution that needed to happen and everything. Another challenge is how to organize your time. You might have noticed that I have my part-time job, that I have my startup, I'm a university student, and I'm a lifetime learner. So it was critical to know how to prioritize things and how to organize my time. It's a challenge. It causes a lot of stress when you see that on your plate you have many things to do, and you gotta choose what to put above what and choose what to lose. The fifth thing is dealing with people. As you can see, we're dealing with tourists from different backgrounds. We're dealing with people from Lebanon and from Tripoli, from different ages, different backgrounds, different mindsets. How can we target and talk to all of them? How can we recruit them on our team? This was a challenge, but gradually and because we are people, I'm a people person, and Hattie is also a people person, so it helps us love people and be ourselves when dealing with them. We're just being very transparent, we're being honest, we're sharing our experiences with them as if they are friends for 1,000 years ago, and this helped us be closer to our goal. So mainly these are the challenges with a bit of solutions to every one of them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sister. I think most of our speakers today have actually mentioned challenges and solutions, which actually solutions supposed to be and solutions supposed to be in part. I mean, in our third round, but it's okay. In third round, we can touch more on solutions, and we can speak more about it. Thank you so much. So now we actually will go to a very short break before we continue to our third round. So in this short break, we will have a video to show you about Athena Holdings, and also a video about Tripolizen, and also we will have some posters that belong to Kamikita, so you can get more details. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Anja, an entrepreneur from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm also an alumna of IVLP, Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative. Do you know that we can create an awesome life on our own terms? Especially we business owners must know how to thrive during this self-quarantine time. Therefore, I would like to invite all of you to take control of your life, because if you don't, you'll start worrying. So, what is in our control? As for me, I would like to focus on becoming a better me, and I would like to improve my life so that it will help turn my visions into reality. Now, I would like to talk about visualization. Why it is important, and it's never too late to visualize. Just use your imagination. For example, visualize who you want to be or where you want to go. And at this moment, take the opportunity to get mentors and advisors from industry experts. Please also revisit your business model and find ways of creating new revenue channels. That's all for now. Bye!
مشروعنا هو تحت اسم Tripolizen اللي هو تور جايد ضمن مدينة طرابلس القديمة.
نحن هدفنا نفرجي قديش طرابلس حلوة بالرغم من الصعوبات اللي مرت فيها، تبقى سياحية وحضارية تجمع كتير حضارات من وقت الفينيقيين لليوم.
أخذنا التمويل المشروع اللي اشترينا فيه المستلزمات تبعتنا مثل يونيفورم، كاميرا، بزنس كارد، سبونسرينج on فيسبوك وميجافون.
ببرنامج جيل تعرفنا كيف نحول الأفكار لخطط، تعرفنا كيف ندرس السوق، ندرس حاجة السوق قبل ما نبلش أي فكرة، نعرف كيف نزيد قيمة مضافة لشغلنا، بالإضافة لكيف نربح ويكون عنا رؤية تنموية.
من الأشياء كمان اللي تعلمناها هي دراسة السوق، دراسة المزايا، الأشياء اللي بتميزنا عن غيرنا من العالم، كيف نحن نتميز عنهم، وكمان دراسة أسعار السوق ومقارنتها بأسعارنا بهدف نوصل للبزنس تاعنا. أنا صراحة من أهم الأشياء اللي غيرتني على الصعيد الشخصي كانت كيف أتعامل مع فريق، لأنه أنا صعب إني أشتغل فريق أو بحب إنه أنا أكون قائد للفريق، فأنا تعلمت كيف أكون قائد للفريق بس بصفة القيادة اللي هي بتميزها، اللي هي بتساعد الفريق مش للأسلوب الشخصي.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for waiting, and I hope you did watch some of the videos and have seen some of the posters that we showed during the break about the organization of the speakers of our topic today. So to move on with our third round and our last round, which will be the solutions and also key takeaways for the public, for those who are watching. So we'll start from Mr. Hisham. For Kamikita is a fresh idea, but seeing the responses from the public and so far have been really amazing and going well. What are some strategies that Kamikita are following at the moment to cope with, for example, like COVID-19? So as a social enterprise, I know now everything is online, especially during this pandemic. What are some strategies that you follow, you implement in order for you to overcome the challenges that you mentioned earlier? And also, if what would be your advice? What advice could you give to other social enterprises out there who either newly started or have started for a long time, what is, if there is one thing you would like to tell them, what would it be?
Okay, I think the challenges, just to reiterate back some of the challenges and perhaps the solutions that we are still trying, experimenting. Like I mentioned before, I think marketing is, in any business, marketing is very critical. Even if you have good product, good services, but nobody knows about you, you will make a cent, right? So I think in the day and age of COVID-19, the pandemic, where everybody is online, I think a lot of the messaging, a lot of the branding can be watered down because everybody is online. So what we did was we leveraged on the brands that we have with us. We try to work with vendors or merchants that has some brand value, and also with our network of celebrities. I think that is also helped us a bit in the marketing, because it's all about sharing and retweeting and reposting. That gave us that the multiple effect in terms of digital marketing. We didn't spend a lot of money on digital marketing. I think more and more people are thinking that the more they spend, the better the reach and the better the value, the brand value and all. That might not be the case anymore. So it's more on your relationship and your communication, your leveraging on each other, and that's why you need to have a very strong ecosystem of startups, of like-minded businesses, because you are selling to the same market. If you are targeting a certain market, you see what other people are doing. I think it's more, rather than getting them, looking at them as a competitor. I think the pie is big enough. It's better, I think, to work together and see what kind of solution that you can create. And I think also back to the last question, which is the advice to the aspiring entrepreneurs or social enterprise entrepreneurs out there. In light with the current situation in the COVID pandemic situation, ecosystem that we are now, there are three things that I was looking at. I was on top of my head. I think one was funding strategy. A business needs funds to survive. Right now, I think in the current situation, it's more on to survive rather than to grow. It's good if you can grow, but I think most companies are here now just to survive. So funding strategy is one thing. You have to understand the funding ecosystem right now, the sentiments and all. So you better be prepared, read up, understand it, look at the notes and stuff. And the other one is to manage your expectation. More often than not, you start a company, you start a business by thinking that you have the best product, the best service, right? If not, you won't even think of wanting to sell it or to market it, right? But it's more on managing your expectation when you go out there, because out there's so many things, so many companies with similar products. How do you differentiate yourself and things like that? So you have to have your strategies and in place, but quite critically, you just have to manage your expectation. So I think if you manage your expectation, then it's easier for you to accept failure. It's easier for you to grow. It's easier for you to work with each other and not see everybody as competitors, and etc. etc. I think, and the last one is, again, we are living in a new normal. What we know before might not be relevant or even accepted anymore. So my advice for you out there is to rethink and to relearn. what you have now or previously, the 2-3 months back, you have your plan, you have your marketing plan, you have your I don't know, your sales plan, your numbers, your KPIs. Relook at it, rethink, to suit the new normal. We don't know what the new normal is yet. Is yet to be is yet to, I mean, everybody has a different new normal, I suppose, moving forward. But take this time, I think, to rethink and to relearn, especially the relearning part of it. So that's my take on this.
Thank you so much, Brother Hisham, for sharing. All right, so moving on, Ms. Anja, you are a well-known entrepreneur in Malaysia, and you know, with all the success that you have accomplished and how far you have become with your social enterprise. What do you think the key motive that kept you on going? What were the secrets in your success at the moment? What were the challenges you mentioned earlier? You know, you already mentioned some of the solution, like having a mentor and, you know, engaging with communities and engaging with the other social enterprises. What do you think is how else did you overcome these challenges? Were there other alternative strategies that you followed? And if there's any secrets you would like to share with our audience today?
Okay, actually, there's no secrets. I mean, if I have, 10,000 brilliant ideas, but with zero action, so it won't work. For me, for us entrepreneurs, we see challenges as an opportunities. So I encourage, especially startup to revisit your business model, and find ways to create new revenue stream, and probably find a new market segment. For example, Athena, when it's been like 10 years now, we're selling sanitary products, but due to COVID-19, we have actually decided to, why don't we make cloth face mask? And I shared with all our corporate clients, because my role is on corporate marketing. I shared with our corporate client that just to tell them that we are making this face mask, and we, to our surprise, they do support us. They purchase in bulk for their staff or for them to resell. And now we have that face mask available on our online store. And I agreed on this managing expectation, because we all know we are currently facing this pandemic crisis, but it's not financial crisis. The money is still there, but how? You have to be very creative to get the money. In the end, you need to survive. You have stuff to pay. You have expenses, and be alert that whatever challenge that we face, there's always an opportunity. And I keep on doing my networking. It's a serious networking whereby I'm very clear of what the outcome that I want from the networking session. Although it's online, previously it's offline, and always do an income produce activity, that you are very clear. If you meet someone, other than money, what else can you get? Maybe you can get a referral to your potential client, or many things. You may learn something. You might be referred to someone who can advise you. So always have this agenda, that when you are meeting someone, be clear of the call to, so-called call to action, the outcome of the meeting. And during this this MCO, I also offer like 3 times free mentoring session. And to my surprise, that by offering this, I'm also not only mentored those local, but doing this online, it allow me to mentor many aspiring social entrepreneurs from other countries. And this also opens up new network for me, because they are now willingly to refer me to their whoever that I want, that I wish to be connected. So opportunities are everywhere. It's all your how you actually be creative to to make something out of it. So best is to, again, like what I said, when you manage your expectation, like what I agree with what Hisham said just now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anja. I think, yeah, it is actually, there are so many opportunities surrounding us. We just need to be creative to take up these opportunities. If we would just stay where we are, opportunities won't come that easily to us. We need to go out and, you know, grab these opportunities. And I think that's really great sharing. Thank you so much. And now, Ms. Douaa, same question to you. What do you think is the key motive that kept you going? I think you mentioned some points earlier, but maybe you can touch more about it. What you know, despite several challenges that you guys went through, what were some of the key strategies that you implemented in your social enterprise that made you not give up, other than the support from family and friends and the environment? Other than that, were there any specific alternatives or specific solutions that you implement? And maybe you can end your answer with what advice can you give to social enterprises and there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start with the advices, and I'm gonna take it from where you are. So you said go there and grab the opportunity. Yes, that's a great point. But once you grab this opportunity and you start it, you need to criticize yourself and your idea. You criticize yourself to make it better. I'm not saying to put yourself down, and this is like a very sensitive point, like criticize it to be better, because you know we're not perfect, we cannot be perfect, but when we criticize ourselves and when we learn, we're gonna make it better step by step. The other point is act, learn, build. Usually we live in a world where people learn then act. We start school, then university, then we are introduced to the market. But no, it's not how things go. Start by acting. After you act, you're gonna learn from your mistakes and allow yourself to make mistakes. Then build again. Don't let whatever mistake you've done, if it was small or big, stop you from wanting to do a successful thing again. Just believe that you can do it. Mistakes are a must for learning. So the formula is act, learn, build. The third thing I would say is fall in love with numbers. Fall in love with numbers. Take numbers a lot. When you're in front of an investor, you gotta tell them numbers. You gotta tell them facts when you wanna apply for anything. There's an important point. Sorry. Find the right team is maybe more important than falling in love in numbers. So first thing is to criticize yourself, your idea, to find a right team, to act, build, learn. Then the fourth thing is to I forgot what it was. Is to fall in love with numbers, because they are in the business world. You're gonna love to calculate. Sometimes you're gonna have like negatives, sometimes you're gonna have positives, sometimes you will lose, sometimes you will gain, but numbers will keep the track with you. If we want to be more practical now, digital media is like a tool for you. 20 or 30 years ago, businesses, especially small businesses, if they want to show themselves, they need to have a couple of bucks of dollars. Today, it's for free or nearly free. Use it as an exposure. We are in a digital era. Everything has changed. Business has changed. We are changing. So let's translate this change practically with what we're doing, with our practices. And please, don't judge yourself. I know we tend to judge ourselves. I know we tend to hear to people judging us, but always believe in what you're doing. People might think you're crazy, might think that you're acting in a crazy or maybe a stupid way, because are you gonna really fulfill your dream? Are you gonna really reach your goal? Many people do not believe in themselves so they will let you down. I want you to like just don't listen to them. This is basically almost the advices I want to give you. I learned them throughout the journey of Tripolizens. Not only Tripolizens, but even the journey of my life till now. And I bet after 10 years, if we made the same webinar, I'll have new key insights. I'll have new advices to share with you. But till now, these are the things. I'm always a lifetime learner. I hope everyone listening is also a lifetime learner. And let's hand by hand make our world a better place.
Thank you so much, Sister Douaa, for the sharing. I do agree. Having self-reflection, reflecting on yourself, and also improvising and taking on criticism. And also, one point you mentioned is numbers. Like a lot of investors or people who want to invest in your business or want to support you, because they may not be interested to read 2 pages proposal.
100%.
Yeah.
Show me numbers. Even for you, by the way, for you as a like business owner or a startup owner, it will help you track your improvement, and it will give you a motive to continue. Like even if you didn't love math at school, no worries, you'll still be able to fall in love with numbers.
Yes, that's true. I'm not a fan of mathematics. I hate math since I was very young. But I did some projects in my life here. And yes, I do agree. Numbers really do matter, and we have to really, whether we like math or not, we really need to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you love it. Like if you love money, you love numbers.
Thank you. All right.
For good, for profit, always for good, for profit, both of them.
Yes. All right. So we have come to an end of our webinar for today, and now it's time for question and answer. So we have one question from one of our viewers on Facebook. I think this is directed to Mr. Hisham, since it's about commercial business. But other maybe Ms. Douaa and Anja, if you have any point to add into this question, feel free to add. So it goes as follow. Assalamu alaikum. Great discussions and brilliant panelists. There is a very thin line between social entrepreneurship and commercial business, at least from perception of the people or communities. How do you manage this, especially if you receive grants from nonprofits as capital or support? You might be accused of profiteering from community work. So to maybe rephrase the question is, what is the thin line between social entrepreneurship and commercial business? What makes it difference between the commercial business and the social enterprise, and from the perception of people and communities? And for example, how do you manage this in case you get a grant, and what if people accuse you of profiteering from community work? So would you answer that? How do you manage this? So maybe Brother Hisham, you can answer this as a start.
Okay, I think good question. It is a very fine line between a social enterprise and a non-social enterprise. I mean, a typical normal enterprise. I think it's the value that you create. I think typically an SE would perhaps the service or the products would come from a marginalized or underprivileged groups of the community, right? Whether it's the B40s or the blind or the orang asli, you mean the aborigines or things like that. So typically it's like that. But a lot of other businesses that is not very visible, that not very obvious, that they are a social enterprise. Because of the impact that the business creates. Like for example, if you buy a product, people will think, oh, this is a normal enterprise. You are selling a product, a shirt, for example. A shirt is a shirt. If you buy it from Lazada or whatever, it's still a shirt. How is that different? How does that make you a social enterprise? So I think the biggest difference is that the impact or of the businesses that you create, and how do you tell people that is basically you have to have a solid story. Is how you put out your business model, or sorry, the reason why you are in that business, or the social impact of it. How do you say that? How do you tell that to other people, right? So basically you have to have a very good marketing strategy. You have to put your word out so people understand that who you are. We are actually a social enterprise that impacts a certain community or certain groups, whatever. In the next question, which is the grant, this is even the normal typical enterprise. Also, a lot of people, groups of people who are surviving on grants. Some people call them grantpreneur, where they survive purely on grants, right? I know some of them, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they are actually doing business. And every business has their risks, has their constraints, has their weakness, has their challenges, and grant helps. Whether we like it or not, grants help. And more so for social enterprises, where a lot of the social enterprises, they do not have a solid funding strategy. A lot of social enterprise, their objective is to be linked with big corporate companies so that they can get extract from their CSR budget, right? So grants, I mean, in order for you to get those grants, to get those CSR budget, you have to survive. And if you have a viable business that makes a lot of money, then people won't think that you are a social enterprise. People will just think you as a normal business. So it's a double-edged sword, really. But grants really help, and for whoever says that a grant is taking away from other people, or you are manipulating certain group for your own personal or your company's benefit. I mean, there will always be people talking like that. There will always be. So these are the challenges. I'm sure Puan Anja can also agree with me on this. It's a very, very fine line between a typical business with a social enterprise. It's more on the value that you create, and for the people who you want to create it for. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Brother Hisham. I think, yeah, it does actually answer the question. I think we maybe Philanthropy in the future we can organize a webinar that is especially about grant management, because I think grant management itself is already a wide topic that has so many elements.
Maybe if I can add
a little bit, yeah.
Can I add?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay. One good thing about Malaysia is that we have a government agency, Ministry of Entrepreneurial Development, who have this guideline to accredit those companies that run social enterprise model. And in order to do that, you must meet either one of the criteria. There are 4 criteria. Number 1 is that you are able to prove that 51% of your workforce is from target beneficiary groups. But having said that, you cannot simply say that, oh, okay, you hired someone, a youth probably 40, and now you are social enterprise. Then a makcik that sell satay can also declare they are running social enterprise. There must be a clear career path for these beneficiaries. Number 2, 35% of your business cost is channeled towards providing income, training, or subsidized goods or services to target beneficiary group. You can pick either one. Number 3, 35% of your production raw materials or resources is spent on achieving the environment mission. And finally, 51% of your net profit is distributed towards serving the social mission. And the problem must be you can see that problem raised in Malaysia, and only when you meet this one of criteria, and you have go through this audit, and you have to show your impact report, that's when you can get accreditation as a social enterprise.
Thank you so much, Anja.
I also have something to add, just to double check. The question was, what's the fine line between social entrepreneurship and like starting a commercial business, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, for me, there are two parts. The pre, which is before starting the business or the social enterprise, and the post. But most importantly, your why, specify if you're gonna start a social enterprise or a commercial business. What's your mission? Like, review with yourself, with your team members, the why, the mission that will help you know what's your impact, or if you don't have a specific impact to the society, and this will be translated in the marketing strategies Mr. Hisham talked about. The other thing is, like before, what are you giving to the society, and post, what are you doing with the money you're gaining? I think this might be like a bit sensitive or critical, but are you just buying Ferraris? Are you just buying nice stuff, or you're giving back in somehow to the society? For example, are you employing new people, let's say? See, so it has pre and post impact to your society, if it was a small or a big society.
Thank you so much, Mr. Douaa, for adding on. I think I hope that all these have actually answered the question of the viewer, and I think we have come to an end with this webinar. Mr. Khalid has also some questions later on you can ask. I personally would like to thank you for joining us and for being with us, and I would like to pass it on to Mr. Khalid now.
Thank you very much, Hassan. A very fruitful discussion, and I can feel the vibe, especially from all the speakers, from Anja, from Douaa, from Mr. Hisham. We feel, even though it is only, we have a long distance communication through online, but the vibe still, we feel the vibes. And sometimes when you said something about all the feeling part, we can feel the goosebump, you know. That's how the vibration is coming to us. And I do believe that people who are watching us in Facebook also feel the same thing. And a lot of people are watching from Kenya, from Indonesia, from Lebanon, from Turkey. So we are blessed with this situation, actually. Even social enterprise, I do believe that Puan Anja also conducted a few mentoring sessions, and it is worldwide. It's no more local business. Now we become an international or global player, and no more local player. I would like to ask one question. It is quite sensitive. A lot of social enterprise, which is founded back in 2015, they are not exist today. A lot of them cease business within the first 3 years. I do believe that Puan Anja play a big role in giving coaching and mentoring for those in the business, especially those social enterprise. What is your opinion, Puan Anja? What is the main? Yes, everybody. When we conduct training, and when we conduct webinar, when we conduct online discussion about social enterprise, this is the best time for normal business to transform themselves as a social business, so that they can, at the same time they're doing business, and at the same time they are serving the community. But the black side or the dark side of social enterprise, why they did not sustain themselves? Yes, Puan Anja.
Okay, I think I've shared earlier is that these are among individual or group that really passionate, really want to make a change, but they don't really do validation of their product. because in the end, if you cannot make any traction, you make no money. You need to have very clear, how to sustain your business so that from that money you can make an impact. For us, when we joined, because I started with 500 ringgit back in 2009, and 2015 we secured an investor to come in. We didn't receive any grant, and grant we only received last year when we invited to attend a push to attend push program. But that money is actually for us to grow, not for us to spend, because we have a very clear KPI. From how we use the money. So I agreed. I don't. Really appreciate giving out grants to ID stage or you can give grants to startup, but maybe minimum. You need them to give them to do traction, do validation, go out of. Go outside and interview many people, because I've done all that. And if you say you don't have customers, then there must be something wrong. You didn't do your work. Again, number never lies. You can tell whatever story, but again, if you don't work really hard, you cannot show the result. I think with or without grant is how you manage the money, but giving money to businesses that want to grow is much better than those who idea stage. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Hisham?
Well, 9 out of 10 startups do not survive beyond 24 months. So that's normal startup, not a social enterprise. So the numbers are there to be seen. People like to start a business. People don't like to hear the sad stories of failed businesses. But if you're passionate about your business or your product, if you don't survive your first business, you will just start your second and your third and your fourth until you get successful. That's just it. It's just a matter of what kind of business you're doing, whether it is a social enterprise. And social enterprise, a lot of people out there, for the people out there, social enterprise is very misleading, because I think that notion of it being a social enterprise, a lot of people would think that, you don't actually have to make a profit. It's not really a real business. So you have to look at it as a real business. If it doesn't make any business sense, then you won't be able to achieve whatever you set up your social enterprise to do, right? That's just it. Basic bottom line. It has to make business sense. That's my take.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yes, Douaa.
Yeah, I have one thing to add is find a mentor who will help you create balance when you dream, and in Arabic we say تشطح بأحلامك, or you go so far with your dreams. He's gonna create balance to you, and when you feel that you're down and you're gonna fail, he's gonna also, or she's gonna also create balance for you. Learning from their experience is a must to kick off and to sustain later on.
Yeah. So sustainability is everything for a social enterprise, but at the same time, I feel sad when there are social enterprise which is doing good in business, but the social impact are questionable. There are few success story, but in terms of social impact, still questionable in terms of whether the beneficiary can overcome or can go out from the poverty, for example. So yeah, again, it is a very long discussion, I believe. If you would like to open every untold side of social enterprise, and I do believe that a lot of businesses are aiming to register as social enterprise, especially when the government announced that, for example, Yayasan Hasanah, saying that there are grants for NGO, CSO, and social enterprise, and not normal commercial organization. So they are thinking now, why we need to become social enterprise? And yesterday we had a mentoring session with a business who would like to change their business model into social enterprise, and I got surprised. Their understanding about social enterprise are totally different. So they just said, okay, we can take like upon Anja said just now, 51% of your net profit should be given. Okay, we can spend on that, for example. Or it is 51% of your staff must be profit on those vulnerable people. They said, okay, this kakak is B40, this kakak is poor, this staff is asnaf. So just like that. But they are not looking for a social impact. So that is the sad part, where people love, and I love to be a social enterprise, which is good, but at the same time, their motivation is grants again. So grants and opportunities. That's why I believe that all those, even I do believe that Puan Anja responsibility as one of the role model for social enterprise should be play, because of we need to educate the businesses that it is not a shortcut for you to do or to get grants. I think that will be all for today. I would like to thank all of you. I would like to thank Hassan. I amazed today guests, and we have youngest social enterprise here, and we have the most experienced, not old, but experienced social enterprise. Douaa, how old are you?
Say a number.
What is your number?
Okay, I'm gonna be 21 soon.
So just 21 years old. You know, I was in Lebanon. I was in Tripoli. I was Douaa Tripolizen customer before.
Oh, nice.
I do envy with Lebanon. You know, the social enterprise being taught even in the university or even in the classroom.
Wow.
How youngsters need to think about the community. How university students should think about how to develop the community and doing business at the same time. And
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I do believe that the situation become very competitive because the unemployment rate in Lebanon is very high. Because of this pressure, the youngsters start to think about the community. But youngsters in Malaysia, especially at the age of 21, I do believe they are only playing PUBG or Mobile Legend, or maybe thinking of, I don't know, still looking and searching for their identity.
Definitely not Hassan.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard. It's not always easy, but like with all the accelerators and the awareness spreading in the country, even the central bank is like giving some kind of fund and facilitating issues for small businesses. Yeah. I think like although it is getting like to step up, but it's still in its early stages. And the most important thing, as we've just discussed, is to sustain. Are these small startups that sustain and grow? This is the most important questions that all of us in the world, not only in developing countries, but even in developed countries, need to find a solution and an answer for. Because like the irony is that although there is a lot of growing small businesses, the corporations taking over the world are known and are very, very wealthy and very big. So how to create this, how to bridge the gap, how to create this balance and let small businesses aspire, grow and be more successful, more impactful and more wealthy.
Yeah. So I think a lot of things we need the Malaysian society need to learn from Lebanon, especially on youth empowerment. I do believe, and I'm quite surprised when I was 1 month in Tripoli back last year, 2 years back, I think 2 years back. But then I'm surprised those people who are at the age of 29 or 30, they are already have PhD. Most of them having PhD.
Yeah. We stress on education a lot and on languages as well.
Nice. And the situation there is when you finish your degree, when you seek for employment, the employer say that you only have degree. You need to further your master. So when they finish their master, they feel that they would like to further for PhD. But after they get the PhD, the employer said you are overqualified. So again, the unemployment is very high. So that's why a lot of people love to do social enterprise. And even the situation in, like you said, Lebanon having revolution past a few months, but the economy is still sustained and the environment, the society is still strong, because
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope that our economy is sustained.
Yeah, but then among yourself, among the citizen, among the society, the situation among we know that you have more than 8 group of religions.
18 groups of, yes,
18 group of religion, and this group are combined together for a strong society. So that is what also I believe that we need to learn. I purposely bring Sister Douaa to be part of this discussion, although most of our viewer is from Malaysia, but we love Malaysian to learn from others. Only 21 years old. Hassan is also 21, I believe. Hassan, how old are you?
I'm actually 20.
20. So younger.
A bit younger than me.
I'm only 18. So I'm younger. Okay, thank you very much.
Before we end, the last thing I want to say, building on like the crisis we're passing through, this crisis is making us think of entrepreneurial solutions to get money from outside, especially to get dollars, to get euros, to even live, to continue living. So this works for Lebanon, and I think for any country that passes through a crisis. How can we get out of it with the least damage possible through entrepreneurship? And supporting each other as a society.
Yeah, thank you very much, Douaa. I believe can we have last words from Mr. Hisham and also Puan Anja? Last word from Mr. Hisham.
Okay. Thank you to Philander for inviting me, for inviting kami kita to be part of this program. This is the first time for us to as a social enterprise to be involved with this kind of discussion. Moving forward, I think we should have more of this, getting more participation from the various levels of social enterprise. And we need to find the right balance, right, between making money, enough money to survive, and also to have the impact that you wanted, that you set out yourself to be. So thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hisham. One of our social enterprise also listed in Kami Kita, Scholar Inc. product. So
wow, okay. Nice.
So we do believe that this market could be compete with others, inshallah. Puan Anja.
Okay, thank you again, Fernando, Tuan Khalid especially, and Hassan. And I mean, it's all about knowing your why, because I mean, I started late at I think about 37, and I think I got the energy because I'm very clear that why I'm doing this, because in the end I always believe that the soul, the spirit of the business itself will look for its entrepreneur. It's about connecting your why with how can it be used authentically to help others. You can have beautiful or great product or services, but if you can't connect with your life purpose, you will fail flat. I mean, that's my last word.
Thank you very much, Anja, for your final motivation words. It's like a pearl that coming out from your mouth. And maybe Douaa, a short one for you.
Yeah, I said most of the things I want to say. I just want to say thank you so much, and thanks for this community that gets people together from all over the world to get empowered and to build.
Yeah,
I'm very like happy to be part of this discussion.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for those who are watching us on Facebook Live. And we do believe that all of us have we receive a lot of information, a lot of knowledge today, and we receive a lot of motivation for us to move forward and also to overcome the challenges that we are facing post COVID-19. Thank you very much, everybody. With that, bye-bye. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Tuan Khalid, can we have like photo session? Maybe you can share with me later.
Yeah, sure. I will put it. I will print screen now.
Okay, smile everyone.
Okay, smile with thumbs up. Maybe 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much. I will share with you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you.